Assalamu alaikum. The room feels like we're all just sat through a janazah, and because everyone's so quiet. Is everything okay? We'll try one more time. Assalamu alaikum. There we go. Fantastic. He's taking my picture. Fantastic. Okay. All right. I am here doing comedy, no fundraising, so no have to raise your hand. So Baba Ali, I usually have adventures. Today I had my Little Rock adventure, which will be added to my comedy set. Thank you, Little Rock. Today I landed in Little Rock, and I've done 350 shows around the world. What happened today has never happened to me, ever. What? Yeah. You guys don't know yet what happened. I was the last person to leave the plane. And as I go up to get my bag, I realize my carry-on is not where I left it. So I'm looking around, and I go back 2 slots, and I realize, oh, here's my black backpack. I grab it and realize this is not my backpack. So I'm like, uh-oh, someone took my bag. Now, you guys are just looking at me, oh, it's just a bag. No. All my clothes are in this bag. If it wasn't for this bag, I would be wearing sleeping clothes and talking to you guys tonight. So I'm looking around, where's my bag? And everyone's exiting. So I'm running to try to get to the front of the plane. And there's one large lady walking in front of the plane, and she's walking in slow motion like this. And I'm trying to go, excuse me, and she turns around very slowly. Yes? No, not you, the attendant. Someone took my bag. He said, oh, we should get you out of here. Let's go find it. And then the lady turns around. I'm like, oh, please. I'm like, please, hurry. She doesn't get out. So she's going slowly, and I'm trying to run, and I realize, okay, Ali, you're Middle Eastern. You're in Little Rock. Everyone's white over here, except for you. And if you're running around the airport, you're going to make a lot of people nervous. So don't panic. Just look calm. And I'm looking around. All I'm doing is looking at, is that my backpack? No. Is that my backpack? No. I'm assuming someone accidentally picked up my backpack, and they don't know. Because if they did know, they would be standing outside the plane. They're not standing outside the plane. I'm running around. Now, most of you are probably wondering, Ali, why don't you just go to the Lost and Found? If you're a non-Muslim, you go to the Lost and Found if you lost your bag. If you are a Muslim and they find your bag, they call the bomb squad. There is no Lost and Found for us. I don't want to say, hey. So I'm looking around. Finally, I found a lady took my backpack, and I got my bag, and I'm dressed to be okay here. Now, alhamdulillah. So, as a Muslim, you learn small things. These are small things, but there are small things you have to be careful of. On January 8th, not this year, before, I was stopped by airport security. And I thought it was airport security. I landed from Heathrow. They said, everyone take out your passports. We landed at LAX. Heathrow to LAX, everyone take out your passports. We're looking for somebody. And I'm like, uh-oh. Who's on the plane that they're looking for? Everyone's looking around. We're all talking to each other. I wonder if it's him. One by one, we take out our passports. And then finally, I take out my passport, and this is the exact words they said. We got him. I kid you not. And we're post-Trump. So being Muslim, randomly searching. This is normal for Muslims. We know how it is. Like, everyone's like looking at us. Is he one of the good ones or one of the bad ones? And then randomly searches, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, eeny, meeny, miny, Mohammed, come with us. So I know how it is. So as I'm walking with these guys, I'm laughing, I'm joking, and the guy's looking at me, and he said, why are you laughing? I said, because I've been randomly searched before. I know how it is. You guys need to just check the back. I completely understand. He says, who do you think we are? I said, you're airport security. He said, we're not airport security. I said, who are you guys? I said, we're Homeland Security. Now they're taking me to a part of LAX secondary inspection I've never seen before. Normally, when you get stopped by the airport security and they take you to inspection, they take you to secondary inspection. That's where you go into a room where all the Muslims are. Assalamu alaikum, how are you doing? How's everything? That wasn't the case. They took me to this part of LAX I've never seen before. And they stopped and they went through my bags, and they're going one by one, and I was there for 4 hours. 4 hours going through every small thing, going through the lining of my bag, going through my phone, every picture, every name. And they finally got to my laptop. And when they opened my laptop, I've made, for those who are familiar with my videos, I've made about 100 different videos on all these different topics. The one topic that they popped over, the laptop opened up. They said, what's on this laptop? I said, listen, I make videos about what? Not those type of videos you're thinking about. It's not those. Good videos, good videos. I'm Muslim, I'm American. They're about being Muslim in America, all the funny stuff we go through. Do you mind if we watch one? I said, sure. I don't know which video it is. I have about 100 different topics. Just press play. It's probably whatever the latest video is. They press play. Of all the videos I've made, it's the one I make fun of how stupid airport security is. I could not make this stuff up. They're watching videos of me impersonating them. And they're not laughing. And I'm like, I'm going to Guantanamo. I'm going to Guantanamo. It's like, this is disaster. It's disaster. And then, when you think it can't get any worse, when you think it can't get any worse, like I can't write this, I'm not this creative to write this type of comedy. This is actual real stuff. They opened up something that till today I do not carry anymore. This is called a joke book. For those who are familiar with who Preacher Moss is, he gave me the idea of a joke book. I performed in Toronto one time. He said, Ali, I write all my jokes in a book. I call it the joke book. I said, that's pretty smart. He said, you don't have to write all the words of your joke. Just write one word for the joke and just carry that word with you. So you have like 10 words and you can do like 15 minutes of material. Genius. Just carry a joke book with you. Fantastic. Until airport security stops you. And let me tell you what the joke was. I had written one joke in my joke book, just one. And the joke was about being thrown off the airplane. I'm going to do the joke for you guys because this is a joke I did with Preacher Moss in Toronto. And this is the joke, and then it will make a lot more sense of why it was funny in the book. All right, this is the joke. 5 things not to do, because if you do, they're going to throw you off the airplane. So in order for you guys to remember these things, I need you guys to say they're going to throw you off the airplane. Let's try with it. We're back to the janazah again. Okay. They're going to throw you off the airplane. 5 things not to do, because if you do, they're going to throw you off the airplane. Number 1, no matter how good the food is, don't ever say, hey, this is the bomb. Because if you do, what happens? Number 2, see, when I speak and perform, I try not to go over my time. Oftentimes, we know Muslim speakers and performers, we always go over our time. I have a stopwatch here that's counting down. But if this is on the plane, and it counts down, by the way, and I'm sitting there practicing my material, and I'm counting down. I don't know if this guy's talking Arabic. What is he planning? And this happened to me, by the way. I have a stopwatch, and I was counting down, and I saw the girl getting nervous. So I took the stopwatch off, I put it in my carry-on, and I pushed the carry-on under my seat. Shortly after, the alarm went off. And it sounded exactly, I don't know why they made the sports watch like this, exactly like a bomb going off. So what happens with your stopwatch? You carry one of these on the airplane? These are all innocent things. All innocent. Number 3, you see your friend from work. His name is Jack. You want to say hi to him. How do you say hi to him? Yeah, what happens when a bunch of Muslims say the word hijack? On an airplane? Number 4, you're flying with your friend. His name is Osama. They wouldn't let you guys sit together. He gets a window seat, you get a window seat. Osama says, wake me up when it's time for Maghrib. All right, he takes a nap. You look outside the window, the sun has set. Osama, wake up, it's time, it's time. What happens with you and sleeping, Osama? And number 5, no matter if you have a beard, they may not throw you off the airplane. If you're wearing hijab, they're not going to throw you off the airplane. But if you have a beard and you're wearing hijab, not a good idea. What's going to happen? Very bad disguise. Anyways, this joke was the only joke I wrote in the joke book. Now look at the words I use. First one, bomb. Second, clock. Third, hijack. Osama, plane. And then now the Homeland Security is, what is this? I'm like, you guys are going to laugh. It's a joke book. And they're like, no, it's a joke book. Okay, yeah, so they're going to throw you off the plane. And they were not doing it. They were not doing it. So what happened was, interesting enough, they kept watching the videos. They kept watching the videos, and they kept watching the videos. And for those who are familiar with my videos, as funny as some of the content is, every single one of them has a message. And they got to it, I remember very specifically, the part of the video where it says that in order for us to change the image of Muslims, is us improving our character, the way we behave, and the way we act. Because we're like ambassadors for Islam. For us, especially like in a small town like this, where you have like a very small percentage of people being Muslim in Little Rock, this is the only Muslims that many of these people will ever see. So I was mentioning that for the airport, this is the only time many of these security people may even know what Muslims and interacting with them. And the supervisor smiled. And for those who crossed the border before, these people don't smile. He laughed. The other guy starts laughing. They start watching my videos, and they're all laughing and laughing at me. I'm like, really? And they closed the laptop. They said, you will never be stopped again. Till that day, this was January 8th, 2008. Till today, I've never been stopped by Homeland Security, airport security, never been any issues for checking online. So alhamdulillah, there's some positive stories behind all this stuff. But there are certain things like today's backpack, it comes back, I gotta be careful with certain things. There was this one time, as a Muslim comedian, you go through different trials. When I sat at my table initially, and Brother Naeem mentioned that, about a lot of people here are doctors. As soon as he said that, a quick memory just popped in my head, because there was an incident when I was performing, and there was people sitting at round tables, and a majority of people were doctors. And I'm going to tell you the story, what happened. So my friend said, Ali, I want you to come and speak at my wedding. I'm like, brother, I don't speak at weddings. He's like, why? I said, because no one's there to listen to me speak. They're all there for the bride and groom. It's not a good idea. He said, no, you have to come. I said, why do you want me to speak? He said, I don't want you to speak. I want you to do comedy. I said, no one does comedy at weddings. It sounds like a good idea until you get up on stage and realize that no one's listening to you, and you're sitting there talking and talking. I feel like the masjid announcement guy after Jummah. I'm talking, but no one's listening. So he's like, no, please, you have to come. I said, why is this so important? He said, because I'm a doctor. My wife is a doctor. My dad is a doctor. Most of the people at the wedding will be doctors. I'm like, and? It's going to feel like a medical clinic. I need you to come. Come on, so they're going to talk about medical stuff. I need you to come spice it up. I'm like, okay, fine. And I remember I went to the wedding. I sat in the far left-hand table with my wife and kids. My daughter was, I think, 3 years old. The other one was 6 years old. They're sitting there watching Baba because he just announced me to go up. And right before he announced me to go up, he said, before I introduce Baba Ali, and he didn't introduce me as a comedian, as a speaker. Before I introduce him to Baba Ali, I'd like to thank a few people who've come tonight for my son's wedding. This is the father speaking. Dr. Khan, please stand up. And Dr. Khan stood up. They all clapped for him. Dr. Mahmoud, please stand up. Dr. So-and-so, Dr. So-and-so. He went on for like 15 minutes. And then I looked around. I said, I think I'm the only one that's not a doctor in this room. And right there, I actually thought of a joke. I wrote the joke down on a piece of paper. I said, I'm going to go up on stage. I'm going to say this, they're going to start laughing, and the rest of the comedy is going to be super easy. Because if the first joke works, the rest of it works. I get up on stage, and this is what I said. With all the doctors that are here, who's at the hospital? They didn't laugh. They actually looked at each other like, seriously, who's at the hospital? We're all here. And everything I started saying, they thought I was giving announcements. I'm serious. They didn't know I was doing comedy. It was like I was hitting rock bottom. This was like one of the worst comedy events ever in my life. And I'm like, this can't get any worse. Like in my head, I was saying, this can't get worse. It was dead silent the whole time. Dead silent. Until my daughter, 4 years old, gets up from the far left table, comes up to the stage, and starts pulling my pants. I'm like, her name is Hanifa. Yes, Hanifa. Baba, who are you talking to? Because apparently no one's laughing, no one's listening to you. I'm like, I feel like the Masjid announcement guy again. So, all these funny experiences, subhanAllah. For those who are familiar with my other work that I do a children's show for children. I do all kinds of different projects for the Muslim community. One of the projects I do is a project called Half Our Deen, where I help Muslims get married. One of the interesting things about Muslims and youth, how many people here are single? Can you raise your hands? Okay, how many people here are married? Can you raise your hands? Okay, how many people are confused by the question? Because half of you are not raising your hands. Like, I like that single guy who's raising his hands. Like, you're not single. His wife tells him to put your hand down. So I learned that a lot of the young people, when they're looking to get married, they don't know anything about marriage. We as parents don't tell our kids. I have 2 daughters right now. We very limit them on information. Like, it doesn't really come up. And we should be talking to them more. Most of the kids, when they get married, what do? Sign here, Mubarak, go figure each other out. That's all we do with them. Go figure each other out. Hopefully, inshallah, say inshallah, say bismillah, go. But these kids, they don't know anything. And I've been married for 17 years, and I'm still learning. Has anyone been married for longer than 17 years in this room? Wow, mashallah. This is the whole table here. This is the 17 and plus table, mashallah. Any advice? Anyone give me advice on past 17 years? Yes. You will keep learning. Keep learning. I've learned. I'll tell you what I've learned. You know, when men and women are so different from each other, when a man wants to use a restroom, how does he use a restroom? See, there's a brother actually getting up and he's walking and no one isn't paying attention to him using the restroom. When the brother's coming back over in the back, he just came back. But individually, men, when they want to use a restroom, you know what they do? They stand up and they start walking and they undercover go use the restroom and come back. Men use a restroom like this. Women don't use a restroom like this. When a sister wants to use a restroom, she says, I need to go use the restroom. Her and her best friend get up and they go use the restroom together. I don't understand. Brothers, it's funny, this is how we're different from each other. I didn't know about this until I got married. Like, I never gone to a brother and say, Brother Salam, I need to go pee, would you like to come with me? It doesn't happen. It never happens. They'll throw you off the airplane. Why are the 2 brown guys praying in the bathroom together? Occupancy 1, why are they there? So it's interesting, like, this is different. Like, there's certain things, sisters, you guys don't know about us. And brothers, even though almost all of you have said married and mostly married for, I guess, a good period of time, there are some things I'm going to show you about your wife that you probably not know and some things about your husband that you may not know. Like the restroom thing, for example. Did you guys know, men, when we go use the restroom, even if we're having conversations normally, as soon as we walk into the restroom, there is this unwritten rule that conversations stop. Do not look at me. I do not look at you. It is dead silent in every men's restroom. Dead silent. There's no conversations, especially with strangers. Zero. Now, you guys look at me. I just show the court here, Exhibit A. Brothers, how many of you have had conversation with random strangers in the bathroom? All right, let the court be a witness of Exhibit A. Not one person has raised their hand, about 200 people, 300 people in this room. Sisters, they're already laughing, and I haven't even said it yet. Sisters communicate very differently than brothers do. A sister can go use the restroom. She's washing her hands, fixing her hair, and is a complete stranger. Another woman, Muslim or non-Muslim, and they're having a conversation. She's at the sink, having a sink. Hey, how you doing? Da, 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 da. Complete stranger. How many sisters in their entire life have had a conversation with another person at the sink? Can I get raise your hands, please? Yeah, some of you are like this, hiding your hands. Don't worry, I'm not going to pick on you. Raise your hands, please. There you go. All the husbands are looking at their wives. Who are you talking to in the bathroom? You see how we're so different? How we communicate differently? Average man, there was a study done, the average man speaks 12,000 words per day. That's it, 12,000. It sounds like a lot, but it's not that much. 12,000 words. This is why when he comes home and you ask him, how was the fundraiser? How was the dinner? This is him. Good. Who was at the wedding? Everybody. How are you? Alhamdulillah. Men, we only have one word, minimum. Sometimes we barely even communicate with one another. Like, I'm with my wife. I see a brother I haven't seen for a very long time. I see him from across the room. I say, well, one second. I haven't seen this brother for a long time. Let me say salam to him. That's it. He will see me from across the room and do the exact same thing. And then he goes and I go. And my wife's like, what happened? Nothing. I had to, wait, he's leaving. And that's it. My wife is the exact opposite. She's talking to her friend, and talking. And I'm sitting there looking at my watch, having a conversation with some random brother, her husband. I have no idea who he is. We have nothing in common. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. As we were walking away, I asked my wife, how long have you not seen her? So I saw her yesterday. So the average man speaks 12,000 words per day. So the average woman, the same study showed that speaks 25,000 words per day. See, the double. And men don't know this when they get married. Because his wife comes home and says, how was your day? He says, good. And then he goes to his wife, how was your day? This is what the wife does. Not only will you learn about her day, you'll learn about Khadija's day, Hafsa's day. Who's Hafsa? It doesn't matter what Hafsa is. Let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you what happened. And all these stories you know about all her friends that you never even asked. And then men, mashallah, we have the ability of doing certain things that women can't do and things women do that men can't do. Like men, this is very abnormal for sisters when they watch us do this. Men will tease each other, but they don't really mean it. They will play around with each other and tease it, but they don't mean it. Brother, am I right? You tease each other, but you don't mean it. You know, women, they don't do that. This is why brothers, when they get married, they start making jokes about second wife. Oh, you're getting big. Ah. And the wife's like, I thought we're bonding. He's like, no, we're not bonding. How do women bond? Does anyone know? They compliment each other, but they don't mean it either. Am I right, sisters? She's so, oh, I love your dress. I hate it. I hate it. You know why you're laughing? Because it's true. How we're so different from each other. We're so different. There's things that no one ever tells us. You're sitting at these tables that you're sitting right now. Most of the tables, like, okay, like there might be a sister table over there. There's a brother, mostly brothers at the table here, right? Brother table and sister table is completely different. Sometimes you go to events and there's brothers on one side, sister on one side. And when you go to the brothers' tables, it's completely different dynamics than the sister side. Brothers, you know, we are very limited. There are things, as I said earlier, sisters can do that brothers can't do. And things that brothers can do that sisters can't do. Brothers have the ability, not the ability, they have the limitation of either speaking or listening. That's it. We cannot speak and listen at the same time. This is why when the phone rings, like, shh, assalamu alaikum. We can't hear anything. We can't, as soon as the kids start making noise, I can't hear. The volume did not go down. It's just this room noise. But the sisters don't have that problem. They can sneak this under the hijab and they're talking, right? With no hand, their hands are busy doing other stuff. If you put 8 brothers at this table, 8 sisters at this table, completely different situation. 8 brothers at this table, every brother will look at each other and only one person will speak, everyone will look at him. Listening. Next brother will speak, we look at him. Next brother will speak, we look at him. Next brother will speak. If ever 2 brothers talk at the same time, a brother will get up. Either you talk or you talk. I can't hear both of you, brothers. Now you go to the sisters' table. Every sister is sitting in a pair with another sister. You guys don't believe me? Look at the sisters right now. Sister Exhibit A, do you see the table right here? There's plenty of room in this table, but those 2 are like attached. Sisters sit in pairs. I don't know why, but they sit in pairs. And every sister, when they're sitting in pairs, they will have a conversation with the girl that they're talking to. Really? He's saying what he's saying is so true. It's so true. But what's funny is while they're having the conversation with the sister, they're listening to all the other conversations at the table. Am I right, sisters? They can speak and listen at the same time. A sister, really? When did you guys go? Brothers can't do that. So many things, subhanAllah. And I was on the way here, I was like looking at some of my things. I was like, being married for such a long period of time, I looked at some notes of things I noticed of learning being married for this period of time. And I put it on my phone. And I want to share some of these things with you. Some of the things I've learned, hopefully this will help with some people. I've learned, hopefully beneficial for you guys too. When a man says certain things and when a woman says certain things. When your wife, let's start with the wife first. We'll pick on the sisters first and we'll pick on the brothers. When your wife says to you, we need to talk. See the brothers who've been married? Mm-hmm. Brothers, what does that mean, we need to talk? Yeah, be serious. You know what it means? We need to talk, my understanding, is she is going to talk, you are going to listen. This is confusing for men because you're using the word we. Because the next time she uses the same sentence, she says, we need to take out the trash, or we need to go to the supermarket, and you're waiting for us to go to the supermarket. There is no we. It's you go to the supermarket. I'm cooking. So the we is confusing. When a sister says, there is nothing wrong. What does nothing wrong mean? Something wrong. You never do that. That means you do it. You never done it for a long time, right? Brothers the same way. Brothers have these weird things that we say, but white brother will be sitting down and says, honey, you're working too hard. Take a break. You know what that means? Your vacuuming is so loud, I can't watch the basketball game. Brother's laughing. Is that you've done that? MashaAllah. He's so helpful. They didn't realize he's actually watching the game. SubhanAllah. Okay. So, I don't want to go too much over my time. I apologize. But I want to share one last thing with you guys. And this is a word of advice for all the brothers who are, because I'm going to have to read a text message to you guys. A lot of times, us funny brothers, sometimes from us, those who joke around with our wives. And as a comedian, I have to know where the line is. You know, sometimes you joke around, but I can't always be Baba Ali, the comedian. I have to sometimes turn that switch off, and that's hard for me sometimes. Turn off the switch and like listen to her, be supportive of her, show empathy. Empathy, something that I did not mention, by the way. Maybe we could have it here or not. We'll discuss this real quick before I discuss the text message. You know, men can do something a woman can't do, and women can do something that men can't do. Men have the ability of sitting down, staring at a wall, and thinking about absolutely nothing. Am I right, brothers? Absolutely nothing. Sometimes their mouth is open, they're like this. And they're thinking about nothing. Women have the ability of doing something that men can't do. They have the ability of making a very special sound, a very unique sound that men cannot make. I don't know if we'll be able to hear it because of this room, but sometimes when they do it in harmony. And before I go on to say what the sound is, some of you are wondering, Baba Ali, you have all these stories about men and women. How did you meet your wife? Back 17 years ago, I was talking to her on the phone, and then I said, okay, it's time for us to meet in person. So I flew all the way from Los Angeles to London. She was at Hyde Park in London, and she sat on a park bench. I stood up, and we had a nice halal gap between us. And we started talking. After 20 minutes of speaking, I took out my video camera. I wasn't planning this, by the way. It just happened. I took out my video camera, and she's like, what's that for? And she was so shy and so quiet. I said, just in case this works out, one day we might have kids, and they're going to ask, how did you meet Mama? I want to record that moment until that moment and have this piece of footage. And then from that point, I recorded everything. I presented to her 5 years later and give it to her as a gift of how Ali met Layla. Did you guys hear the sound? You see? She heard it. So for those who, because the room is spread out, you heard the sound. What was the sound? I heard it. You heard the sister. Sister, do that all one more time for me, please. Did you notice when I told the story, that special sound that only sisters can make, that brothers can't make, and the sisters made that sound? Did you notice the sound of the was not too high and not too low? And not one sister told the other sisters when to start and when to end. They did it in harmony. And to demonstrate, just sisters only, can you do it one more time for the audience? It's in perfect harmony. Now, brothers are like, well, what's the big deal? Brothers, without sisters, do not help them out. Brothers, try to make the sound like the sisters made. One sounded like a wounded animal. The other one sounded like... Yeah, the kids are like, I can do this better than you guys. All right, back to the text message. Last thing, sorry. Went over my time again. Okay, text message. So, learning to turn off the switch, guys. This is a piece of advice. Last piece of advice, and I'm finished, inshallah. That's it, I'm done. My wife sent me a text message. I was at the office, and the message comes from my wife. My wife is very, very introvert. She's not like me. She doesn't have 5,000 friends. She's never, ever, ever on stage. Never behind the microphone. She's always behind the scenes. So even when I married her, it took a time for her to open up. And all my sense of humor to her is hard, you know, sometimes. So she actually sent me a very, very deep text, and this is the first time in her life she sent me this message. She said, Ali, Assalamu alaikum, Ali, I just want to let you know that I appreciate you for everything you do for me and the kids. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you the highest of Jannah, al-Firdaus. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And she keeps going on and on and on in very heartbreaking not heartbreaking, but heartwarming, long text about how much she appreciates me, how much she loves me, how much she cares about me, and how fortunate she feels and she hopes that we're in Jannah together. Immediately, without even waiting like 2 seconds, I responded back to her with 3 words. Sister, what words do you think I said to her? No, it's not, I love you. It said, who is this? I don't know how to turn off the switch, everybody. I'm Baba Ali. I'm doing comedy. I like to make people laugh, including my wife. My wife's